Hello everyone, welcome to this video of Automation Edge. In this video, we are going to take you through the new features and enhancements we have introduced in Automation Edge release 7.4. So let us go ahead and look at the features and enhancements in detail. The first feature that we have introduced in the release is where we have the shared workflow feature that enables users to export workflows, sync the shared workflow, and reuse the workflow. With this feature, workflows can be shared with the users of a tenant. When a user shares a workflow, it allows other users of the tenant to reuse this workflow in their projects. Users with role tenant admin and workflow admin will have the option to upload and update such shared workflow zip on the AE server. The shared workflows are available to the users in the Shared Workflow tab in the Process Studio. So let us go ahead and look at how you can share a workflow and how you can use these shared workflows as a part of your project. So here, as you can see, I am at my Process Studio instance. I have designed a workflow that will be logging into my ServiceNow instance. Now I'm going to share this workflow so that any other tenant user who wishes to use this ServiceNow login as a part of his or her process can directly drag and drop this shared workflow as a process executor or workflow executor step. Now to share a workflow, I'll go to my specific project, right click on the project and select the option Export as Shared Workflow. Once I select the option, I can select my main workflow here. I can also give a workflow description, followed by which I can select the location where I want to save the zip file which is going to be exported from my Process Studio. Once I select the location, I can click on Next. I can select the necessary resource files, followed by which I can specify my usage guidelines here. Usage guidelines act as a set of instructions for the users who are going to use these shared workflows. Now, when you're exporting a shared workflow, the external libraries that are used in the workflow will not be exported along with it. So anyone who wants to use these libraries have to manually load these libraries into the PS home folder. So all such guidelines are specified under the usage guidelines section that is provided. Now here I am just going to mention the description of my workflow, and I can also add any kind of search tags. Now these search tags will help us in searching the shared workflow. By using these tags, you will be able to quickly search the shared workflow from the list of shared workflows that are available. So here I am going to call it ServiceNow login. I'm also going to call it by the name Snow login. And once I enter these details, I'm going to click on finish so that I can export the workflow. So my shared workflow is now exported as a zip file, after which I will log in into my AUI. So here, as you can see, I am at my AUI instance. I will navigate to the workflow tab, and it is under the workflow tab where I have the option of shared. Now this is where I'll be able to find all my shared workflows and also upload any shared workflow to the UI. I have the upload option here. So here I'll give the workflow name. Let me call it as a ServiceNow login. I'll select the group as login because it is a part of my login workflow. And here I'll select the zip file that I have exported from my Process Studio. Once I've entered all the necessary details, I'm going to click on upload to upload my shared workflow. So here, as you can see, I get a success message which says shared workflow uploaded successfully. And here I'll be able to see the name of the workflow that I have uploaded. Along with that, I can also see the search tags that I had specified while exporting the workflow. Along with that, under the Actions tab, I can see the usage guidelines that I had specified for this workflow. Also all the necessary workflow files that are a part of this shared workflow. If I wish to edit the workflow, I can select the edit option, and for delete we have a delete workflow option as well. Now I will log in into my tenant user process studio and show how you can exactly use this workflow as a part of your process. Now I have a different process studio instance here from where I am going to use the shared workflow. Now to access the shared workflow, you can go to the shared workflow tab that is available here in the process studio. To access the latest shared workflow, click on tools and select sync shared workflow option to sync your workflows. So here, as you can see, after I sync, I get the list of all the new workflows that have been uploaded as shared workflows. Now, along with new workflows, if there are any deleted workflows or updated workflows, I will also be able to see that under this sync pane that is there towards the right hand side. So as of now, there are two workflows that are shared. I can see those workflows from here, and if I want to use them, I can just expand these workflows as such. Now under shared workflows, you can see the workflows bifurcated as per the group. So under the calculation group, I have one salary calculation workflow, and under the login group, I have the 3 login workflows that are shared with me. Let us go ahead and see how you can use this workflow as a part of a process. Here I have opened a ServiceNow workflow where I am logging in into ServiceNow to capture the employee master data and carry out the update of the data. Now, as a part of this workflow, I need to log in into my ServiceNow instance. Now, I have designed the rest of the workflow. The only activity I have to perform here is drag and drop the shared workflow for my ServiceNow login. So I have the ServiceNow login workflow here. I am going to drag the entire workflow and place it just after my start browser step. So I have just dragged and dropped the shared workflow, and it comes up as a workflow executor step in my main workflow. If I double click on this workflow, it opens the workflow executor step. From here, if I want to change any of the parameter names that are being used in the workflow, I can also change the values of these fields from here. If I want to use the values coming in from a previous step, then I can also select them from the drop down that is available. So this is how you can also configure the variable or parameter name that is a part of the shared workflow. If the tenant user wants to look into the usage guidelines to use this workflow, they can right click on the shared workflow and read the usage guidelines specified by the tenant administrator or the workflow administrator who has published this workflow. So here, as you can see, the usage guidelines have opened. Now, in case of an update, so let us see if the shared workflow is updated by the tenant admin. How is it notified to that other users? So now I have updated my ServiceNow workflow and uploaded it on my AEUI. From my tenant user process studio, I am going to sync the shared workflows again. So after I sync, I get this message here which shows that my workflow has been updated. So here under updated workflows, I will be able to see the name of the workflow that has been updated. Along with that, as this shared workflow which has recently got updated is also being used in one of my processes, I will also get an alert in the process. So here if I go to the Project Explorer, you can see that under my employee master data, there is a green icon that has been highlighted which shows that my shared work which is being used in this current process is updated. So this green mark on the folder is an indication that this workflow has been updated. I can either choose to use the updated workflow or I can continue with the version that I'm currently using. So if I do not wish to update the workflow that I'm using, then I can continue with the workflow. You can also check for updates by right clicking on the workflow and clicking on check for update. So here if you wish to update the workflow, you can select the yes option or you can just say no. If there are any change in the parameters or variables that have been configured, then those prompts will also be made in case you want to change those values. So once a shared workflow is updated, all the necessary notifications will be given to the users using the shared workflow. Now let us also see how you can search for these shared workflows using the search tags. For that, I'll go back to my shared workflow tab and we have the tag option here. So once I click on the tag option, I can enter my search tags. Now, for example, the snow login was one of my search tags that I had used while publishing the ServiceNow login workflow. So once I enter the tag value here, the workflow that has got that tag value gets filtered out. Similarly, I also have another workflow which has a search tag as AA login. So if I enter that value, then that specific workflow with that search tag gets filtered out. So this is how these search tags help in searching a specified shared workflow. So this is how a tenant admin or a workflow admin can share a workflow which can then be used by the users of that specific tenant. The next feature that we have introduced in this release is the option to close or open projects and also to load or unload the projects. Now let us go ahead and look at that feature. So here, as you can see, I am at my Process Studio instance and I currently have a project that is completely open. So all the reference workflows of this project are also open along with the main workflow. So when you want to close a project, you can directly go to the project that is open. So here I'll go to the project, right click on the project and select the close option that is there. So here once I click on close project, all the files or all the workflows of that project that were open will close. Along with that, you will also be able to see that the project that I currently closed is grayed out. Now once you close a project, you will not be able to search for any of the parameters, values or nodes that are configured in that project from the search functionality. If I wish to open the project again, I can again right click on that project which is grayed out and select the open project option. So in this way, I can close a project and open a project in the Process Studio. The next option is to load or unload a project from the workspace. Now once you unload a project from the workspace, it will not be removed from the directory. The only thing is it will not appear in the workspace in the Process Studio. It will still be there in that specific directory in which the project was. So let us go ahead and look at this option. So I'll just select the salary processing project that I have. To unload it, I will right click on it and I will select the option of unload project. So here, as you can see, the salary processing workflow has been unloaded from my workspace. Now in case I want to load back that project, I can simply right click on my workspace, select the option of load project, and here I'll get an option of all the projects that I have unloaded. So if there are more than one projects that I have unloaded, I'll get all those options here, one below the other. I can select the checkbox here to load back the project of choice. So here I want to load back the salary processing. So I'll check that option and click on load. So once I do that, you can see that the salary processing project has been loaded back into my workspace. So this is how you can close or open projects and also load and unload projects. The next feature that we have introduced in this release is where we can actually sort the projects that are there in the workspace. So let us go ahead and look at this feature. So as you can see, I am at my Process Studio instance and here now I have an option that is of the sign of a sort, clicking on which I'll be able to sort the projects that I have in my workspace. Now I can sort the projects alphabetically. So either I can sort it from A to Z. So you can see all of these projects are now sorted alphabetically. I can also sort it in the reverse order, that is from Z to A. So they are sorted in the reverse order now. Apart from that, I can also sort them based on the latest project or the oldest project. So in this way, I can carry out multiple sort options on my project in the workspace. Now please note, this will only sort the projects. The resource files and the workflows inside the project will not be sorted. This is just for sorting the projects that you have in your workspace. The next feature that we have introduced is a permission option in the workflow menu that enables users to assign permissions to workflows and categories. So let us go ahead and look at this feature. So as you can see, I am at my AEUI instance. I will navigate to the Workflow tab, and within the Workflow tab, I have the Permissions option here at the bottom. Now from the Permissions tab, I'll be able to assign the access of the workflow or the categories to the various users or group of users. So here either I can have a workflow view or I can have a user view. So if I select on users, I will have the users towards the left hand side and the workflows to the right hand side, and vice versa if I select the workflow view. Now currently I have one of the workflows here. I can also select whether I just want to assign permissions to workflows or I want to directly assign permissions to the categories that I have. So let me select the workflow. Now if I want to assign permission to AE login, I will select that workflow, and towards the right hand side I can select whether I want to assign the permission to users or to groups. So if I select users, I will get the list of users, and here as you can see, none of them have got access to the AE login workflow. All of the permissions that are there are currently striked out. So if I want to assign view access, I can just click on view and this permission gets modified. Similarly, if I give modify access, the view and run access are automatically assigned to that specific user. Once I've made these changes, I can go ahead and save the changes clicking on the save button that is there. Similarly, if I want to assign a permission to a category of workflows, I can select the category. Here let me select a specific category. I'll select the demo category that is there. And here again, as you see, no permissions is assigned to any of the users. Let me check for the groups. So if I select the group option, here again I'll be able to see the multiple groups that I have and the permissions that are there for each of these groups. I would like to give the demo category permission to the demo group. So I can just click on run. And once I click on run, the view permission is assigned by default. So I would like to give the demo group the permission to view the workflows in the demo category as well as execute them. Once I make these changes, I can click on save. So if next time anyone comes to the workflow or to the category and select the specific category, they'll be able to see the permissions that are assigned to the category from this tab itself. So this is a feature that we have introduced in this release to manage the permissions. The next feature that we have introduced is where the users with tenant admin role can set a flash message to notify users of changes or any maintenance activity. Now this message is going to be specific to their tenant. So let us go ahead and see how you can set these messages. So here, as you can see, I am at my AEUI instance. I will navigate to the settings tab, from where I can configure the tenant message. To set a tenant message, I will click on set, and here I can begin by giving a message heading. So I will call it a maintenance activity. I can give the message here. Here you can also use the HTML tags to display the message. So I've specified a message here which says the system is down for upgrade from 7:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Now here I can decide what type of message it is. Is it an information? It is an important message or any kind of an alert. So based on what type of message you are going to select, it is going to highlight it with a color code. So anything that is an alert will be highlighted in yellow. An important message will be highlighted in red and an information will be in blue. So in case you quickly want to see how your message is going to be highlighted, you can scroll down to the bottom and you can select the type and preview the message. So here if you can see, if it is an alert, it is going to specify it like that in color yellow. Now currently my type of message is an information, so I'll keep it to information. I do not want any icon at the moment, but in case you want to select an icon for any kind of information that your publishing, you can select the relevant icon from here. Specify the time zone in which you want the message to be displayed, and specify your start date and your expiry date for this message. Once you have selected all of these options, you can go ahead and click on save to save the message. So here, after I save it, you can see that my tenant message is come up here. You can look at the message heading, the message, the time zone, and the start and expiry date along with the status. If you wish to edit it, you can edit it from here. And if you wish to delete the message, the delete option is also available. Now what I'll do is I will log in using a different credential and show you how this alert message is displayed. So I have a different credential using which I have logged in, and here, as you can see, we had specified the maintenance activity message from the tenant message option, and this is how it gets displayed when any user logs in into the AEUI instance. The next feature that we have introduced in this release is where the users have an option of accessing the resource page directly from the home page. So let us go ahead and look at this feature. So as you can see, I am logging in into my AEUI, and here at the home page, I have an option to directly go to the resources tab. So if I click on take me there, I will be directly navigated to the resources tab. In this release, we have also enhanced the resources page, enabling the users to access the available information with ease. So as you can see, at the resources tab, we have multiple segregations here for getting started with AutomationEdge, for tutorial videos, for guides, the platform release notes, plugin release notes, and extras and files. So if you're specifically looking for any of these details, you can go to that respective tab and download the documents from there. The next feature that we have introduced is where we have added a new filter for roles in the advanced search functionality on the user tab. So let us go ahead and look at this feature. I am at my AEUI instance. I will navigate to the user tab, and at the user tab, if I click on advanced search, under the column name, I have an additional filter option now by the name role. So if I select the role, so here under the search phrase, I will get all the role types that we can assign to a user from the AEUI. So if I want to specifically search for users having the role type of tenant admin, I can select tenant admin, add the filter, and click on search to get all those users who have the role of a tenant admin. The next feature that we have introduced is where users with role tenant admin can now add a user to a group as a part of a bulk upload functionality. So whenever you are creating users in the AEUI via bulk upload, the tenant admin can also directly add those users to a specific group. So let us go ahead and look at this feature. I am at the AEUI. To add bulk users, I will select the option of upload users. I can select the type of users I want. Either I want to natively add users, I want to add LDAP users or SSO users. Now we have to attach a file that will have the details of the users that you wish to create. Now the sample template is already available. You can click on the sample template to download the template. Now I have already downloaded the template, so I'll just show you that quickly. So this is a template for uploading native bulk users. So as you can see, along with the first name, last name, and email address and username, you can now also add the group names to which these users will be directly added to. Similarly, if I show you the sample template for LDAP users, here as you can see, along with username, you can add the group name when you're uploading users via LDAP. And for SSO also, we have these group names specified in the template. In this way, when tenant admins are creating bulk users, they can also add users to a specific group. The next feature that we have introduced in this release is a security enhancement where tenants have an option to control key rotation through the key management feature that provides an additional layer of security. Now the key rotation can be done at the sysadmin level for his tenants and also at the tenant admin level. So let us go ahead and look at this feature. So I'll open my local instance from where I'll show you the key rotation via the key management. I'll be logging in using my sysadmin credentials. Now once I log in, towards the right hand side there is a new tab that is added for key management. So if I click on key management, I can see the current version that is at 1.0, and if I want to enable version 2.0, then I can do it only while my instance is in the maintenance mode. So I'll go to the settings, click on the maintenance mode and enable the maintenance mode. So after I enable the maintenance mode, I will go back to my key management tab. Here I have an option to upgrade to version 2.0. Please note, once you upgrade to version 2.0, you cannot restore back to version 1. So let me click on upgrade. So once I select on the upgrade option, here all the features of version 2.0 are listed, which includes a more secure option, automatic and manual tenant key rotation, key storage options, master password rotation, and also option to download and restore the key options that are there. Now here also you can decide whether you want to continue with version 1.0 or enable the version 2.0. So let me select version 2.0. Now once I enable version 2.0, I'll be prompted for a master password. So I'll enter the password here and also confirm the master password. Now here you have an option to securely store the master password. If you check this box, you can store the password, and if you uncheck it, the option for downloading the password will disappear. Now ideally it is advisable to store the password, but in case you want a high level of security where you do not want any of the passwords to be stored on your system, you can uncheck this option. But the only condition here is that you will have to remember the password. In case you forget the password and you have not selected the option of securely storing it and downloading it, then your instance is lost. We will not be able to recover your instance in case of a forgotten password and password not being stored. So here I will select the option of securely storing the password and I will select on enable. So here as you can see, I have upgraded to key management version 2.0. Now here I have an option to rotate the keys. Now I can select the option of rotate keys. It again asks me for a confirmation whether I want to rotate the encryption keys or not. And I can select on rotate keys if I wish to proceed. So here my tenant keys have rotated successfully. Now here under the key management tab, I have two sub tabs. One where I can manually rotate the keys, and the second tab is for my master password. From here also I can check or uncheck and decide whether I want to store my master password or not. So if I uncheck it, you can see that I will have to enter the master password here and disable the storage. At this moment, I would prefer storing the password and I'm going to download the keys. Now here I'm downloading the password file so that I can secure it, and in case I need to restore the master password, I can use this key to restore it. This is in scenarios wherein I forget the password and I have enabled the master password storage option. So as you can see, I have also downloaded the keys. This file I can save at a very secure location. Now this is an option for master password rotation. So in case you want to rotate your password, then you can enter your old master password here and the new password to which you want to change it to. This is not for key rotation. This is explicitly for master password rotation. So here as you can see, the key management current version is at 2.0. All the changes that I have applied are reflecting on my instance. Now let me show you the second method, that how to rotate keys in case you have not opted for securing the password option. So for that, I'll go back to my settings tab on my AUI. I will enable the maintenance mode, because only after I enable the maintenance mode I'll be able to make changes under the key management. Coming back to key management, I'll go to the master password option and I will disable the option from here. Now as soon as I disable the option, I'll be prompted for the password so that I can disable the option. I'll enter the password and select on disable. And because I had disabled the save password option, it is asking me for a password before I log in. So only after I enter the right password here, I'll be able to log in into this instance. So my master password is verified successfully. And now if I go to the key management, I can rotate the keys. So this is how you can carry out key management either by saving the master password or by disabling the save option. In the similar way, key management is also done at the tenant admin level. So let us go ahead and look at this example. So I will log out from my sysadmin and log in using my tenant admin credentials. Now here, as I've logged in using the tenant admin credentials, I will scroll down to the key management and here I have an option to rotate the keys. I also have the settings option here. So in case I want to schedule the key management activity, I can just enable key rotation and specify the number of days after which I want to rotate the keys. So this can also be done basis if you have any kind of specific rules in your organization where you need to rotate the keys after specific number of days, you can simply schedule the activity from here. Now to rotate the keys, you can just click on rotate keys. It will take a confirmation from you and it will carry out the activity of rotating the keys. So this is how you can rotate the keys at the tenant admin level. And if you want, you can also schedule the activity. That is all from this video. Thank you.